Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 31 of our campaign, Gilded City 2, The Lost Kingdom. We're here. Artemis is back. Unfortunately,
Yay!
Penny is not back tonight. So, the cursed scheduling issues that have had us off air for a month and a half at this point, are continuing to rear their ugly heads. But we're going to power through, and we're going to get to the other side, and it's going to be great. And if you want to help support us in our endeavors of vanquishing the scheduling monster, don't forget to like this video, leave us a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the podcast, leave us a rating or a review, and also follow us on social media at Rollers Guild DND on whatever social media platforms we're on. I know for a fact we're on Instagram and TikTok. We still have a Twitter, but as soon as Elon asks for a photocopy of a government issued ID to keep a Twitter account open, I'm not doing that. Right, I'm not doing that. So also probably just gonna go over to Threads. So maybe by the time that you're watching this video, we'll have a Threads account. And so you should follow us there. It'll also be at Rollers Guild D&D because that's our Instagram handle. So that's what we're gonna have on Threads. It's been really fun watching the entire social media landscape change over the last year. And by fun, I mean this is like the third or fourth time I've done it as a millennial, and it's it's fine. It is what it is. They do. They all blur together. Yeah. Anyway, with that all being said, let's go ahead and dive on in to tonight's episode. Oh, there he goes. Content warning. Ravenloft as a setting can feature disturbing themes and ideas, and while it is never going to be our intention to upset anyone, it is worth noting. Specific tags can be found in the description of this episode. Last time,
there it is.
The party began their preparations for the upcoming undead attack on the people of Lakar. As part of those preparations, half of the party worked on outreach with some of the city's citizens, which involved healing, providing food, that sort of thing. While the other half of the party, including a surprisingly quiet Artemis, began trying to figure out more details about just who the general really is. As part of that, they visited Bjorn Horstman, the arcane scientist they recently saved, who was very cagey about details of his and the general's past, which of course only made the party more suspicious. They did learn some information, both thanks to talking him into divulging some information, as well as a clutch use of detect thoughts by Penny. Following up on that meeting with Bjorn, the entire party reconvened and agreed that the next day they would try and figure out a way to get into the old town hall, city hall, to try and find more information on the general from the before times, or on Falkovnia from before the general's arrival. So that is where we left off. Now, I will just quickly say that evening, Jinarra, you were planning on going and providing some extra training to some of the poor citizens who live down near the south gate.
Yep.
So yeah, you head down there in the evening. Sort of the this older gentleman, 50s or 60s probably, greets you, introduces you to several people. What do you sort of start walking these poor folks through in terms of training?
I'm going to start by getting an idea of what they know, and then if they seem like they're lacking in a certain area, we'll focus on that. So if they're like good at attacking, but they're not quite as good at defending, we'll focus on helping them protect themselves a little bit better, or vice versa.
Sort of watching them go through sort of their paces, you kind of get the sense that they're all like just at very basic level, right? They technically know how to hold a weapon, and they technically know how to hold up a shield. But none of these people are particular, and I would say they're slightly better than average, right? Because they've had to defend themselves against the zombie horde for a long time. But they're not skilled, they're not super skilled, right? Like think like Lord of the Rings, Helm's Deep, when they're handing out short swords and shields to like everybody who can hold one. That is the situation here.
We're just gonna help them work smarter and not harder, and just tweaking stance and stuff like that, so that they're not muscling things as much, and so that they can last a little bit longer and take a little bit less damage.
Okay. I want to call for a skill check here. And I'm not 100% sure what skill that would be.
Teaching.
That is shockingly not a skill in Dungeons and Dragons.
I would say it's gonna be a combination.
Okay.
Of
give me your pitch here.
Performance, insight, and perception.
Okay.
Maybe since it's fighting stuff, maybe like athletics thrown in there.
Okay. As the resident teacher, I will yield to your expertise. So
I don't know how you calculate that.
So Eva, I do think this is gonna be a multi-check thing. So first give me an insight check to determine the best way to teach these people to like what are they gonna be most responsive to. 22. Excellent. Okay. Next, then, you are going to give me a performance check. As the kids say, fake it till you make it. As the kids say.
24.
24. Incredible. Great. Then give me a perception check to spot the weak points in their technique so that you can correct those weak points.
I'm so thrilled that Kelly chose the skills I have +8, +7, and +13 in.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Plus 13.
Jinarra was born to be a
23.
teacher.
23, really great. You're going around, you're correcting everybody's like sword arm angle and all that stuff. Like really good, really good. And then finally, yeah, we'll call an athletics check for our last one here. Just because this does involve a fair bit of physical exertion.
Yeah, I'd say so. 17.
17, good enough. You have a very successful teaching session with these folks. They return to their sort of tenement building, filled with like a new confidence of surviving the horde. And the older gentleman who's sort of organized with you, this with you, sort of comes up and says, "Well, thank you for offering your expertise. I think the people here really responded well to it. You're a good teacher."
Thank you. I was hoping you could actually answer a question for me, if you don't mind.
If I can, I will. I'll do my best.
We've been trying to figure out what life was like several years ago. I know the general hasn't been here the whole time. I was wondering if you happen to remember what life was like prior to the general arriving. Has the zombie situation been this bad the whole time?
Okay, so two things are gonna happen here. Right?
3 different checks.
No, two things are gonna happen here. Thing number one, I am going to roll a d20. The results of this roll will determine if this man has been here since before the general showed up.
Okay.
He is old enough to have memories of the time before the general showed up, but that doesn't mean he's lived here that whole time.
Can I preemptively roll luck to give myself advantage?
Here's what I'm gonna allow you to do. I'm gonna ask you for evens or odds. I will let you use luck to make me re-roll. So but you have to choose evens or odds now, and this will hold for any roll I make. So if I re-roll, if you say odds and I roll a 12 and you use the luck point to make me re-roll and I roll a 14, it's still evens.
Odds.
You want odds. Okay. So roll number 1
What are the odds?
is a 3. That is an odd number. So
The odds were good.
he has been here since before the general showed up.
Okay.
Now I need from you a persuasion check.
Okay.
And I will let you make this at advantage because you did just spend the evening helping his folks out.
Thank goodness, because my first roll was a 1.
Ooh,
The general? That's my son.
she's my favorite person in the whole world.
19.
19. Okay. He glances around nervously. Sort of just gestures you inside the tenement building. As you sort of go into the building, he sort of leads you down kind of a cramped hallway. There's like people sort of in this hallway, right? Just sort of hanging out, gathering around, talking to each other. He stops and talks to a few of them. You can see they're passing around and sharing what meager rations they have. Unfortunately, this is not one of the buildings that Bowmin was able to hit up with his create food and water spells earlier in the day. But they're sharing what they have. He leads you back to a small room. He, unlocks the door, goes inside. You see a, very small room. It's got like a very thin, like straw mattress on a, broken down bed frame in like the corner. He closes and locks the door behind him. This is clearly his room, obviously. He says, it's not all that encouraged to talk much about the time before the general.
Right.
There aren't many of us left that remember such a time. It's been a hard few decades. And every day, the zombies take more and more of old, weak fools like myself.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, there was a time before the general. Things were different. Falkovnia, we had several cities, several population centers. I mean, life wasn't easy, but it was certainly better than it is now. And I could tell you monthly zombie horde attacks were not something that was common in the time before the general.
But there were zombies, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't spend much time out in the wilderness.
Okay.
But I can tell you we never had a zombie horde attacking the city every month.
Okay.
One day, the entire sort of realm changed. A thick mist rolled in, and when it rolled out, suddenly the general was here with her armies, and she immediately subjugated the entire realm.
Oh.
And you know, she secured her rule. I mean, you know, we'd never been conquered by a warlord before. It's not necessarily something that we had. It was a foreign concept, right? We'd heard of it happening in other places. Most of us were like, oh, well, looks like a warlord finally decided to roll into our little corner of the world. For most common people like myself, right, it's not going to change much about your day-to-day life. You know, I was never a wealthy man.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, you know, the former leaders were disposed of, but they hadn't cared much for me and my people, so, you know, I didn't care much what happened to them.
Okay.
Anyway, the general rolls in, conquers Falkovnia, establishes herself as the new leader, and does it with little, you know, there wasn't much in the way of a standing army before her arrival.
Okay.
And then, the new moon immediately after her arrival, the undead appeared and attacked the realm, destroyed every city, village, hut, etc. People fled back here to Lakar, and the general put up a honestly impressive defense of the city and managed to make sure Lakar wasn't swallowed by the zombie horde.
It didn't seem like the zombies were targeting her, though. They were targeting anyone.
It's hard to say. I mean, zombies, undead, right? They don't,
Right. They're
They're
not
not
exactly
that
intelligent.
intelligent.
Sure.
But, you know, I mean, insofar as if they were going after the general, well, this was the city where she had set up her base of operations, and this was the center of where all the zombies converged on. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not.
Okay.
I certainly thought it was suspicious at the time, so there were a lot of folks, but you know, next month came, another zombie horde came. The next month came, and another zombie horde came. And the next month came, and another zombie horde came. And it got to the point where worrying about where the zombies came from, why they started coming when they did, became less of a pressing concern than merely surviving them.
What did she do to anyone who spoke out against her? Obviously, if she doesn't want people talking about the before times, she must be ruling with a pretty iron fist.
Well, I can't say that I know much about specific sort of organized protest against her rule. But what I will say is, if you look at the spikes atop our walls, you will see what happens to people who make the general unhappy.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering my questions. I'm gonna pull out a couple rations to give to him. I have some to spare.
Thank you. This is very generous. And listen, the general cannot know about this conversation.
Oh. Don't worry.
Thank you for training my people.
Of course. We'll do whatever we can to keep you all safe.
I appreciate it. And he lets you out of the room. You see that he immediately starts like sharing the rations that you gave to him with the other residents of this tenement building. And you leave and make your way back across the city to the small room that you and your companions are sharing.
We're in a tiny hut, right? No one can hear us. Are we doing
I
tiny
mean,
hut?
they can hear through the hut, but they can't come in.
Oh.
And you know, this chamber, you've had conversations in this room before that you wouldn't necessarily want other people hearing about, and it's been fine so far.
We'll just whisper. Oh, wait. Hey, somebody like Penny or Artemis, want to cast message? We can do walkie-talkies?
I mean,
Yeah.
technically, yeah. All right.
And just for the sake of ease, we can just pretend that this is all Penny and Artemis sending messages back and forth across everybody.
Definitely add a couple bits of flavor in.
Sure.
I'm gonna share everything, and I'm going to just, after I share all the facts I was told, I'm just going to also share that I think we need to kill her. I think killing her might be good. Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know if that'll fix everything for them. Like, because the last time we killed somebody we thought was the big bad, it didn't go that well.
I know.
We don't have a very good track record with disrupting power dynamics.
In this realm. We have a successful track record back home, just not here.
This is a little bit different compared to the last one because, as Jinarra had said, that there was a time before.
Yeah.
We don't know if there was a time before that the
That's true.
witch was not there and the other elven creatures were not there.
But see, I don't even know if she was the big bad. Because there was
Well-
also the prince dude.
I don't
Whatever.
think...
That's behind us. We can't do anything about that now.
I mean,
Well, Bowmin has a date with the prince one of these days.
Well, that's true.
But they're killing, I mean, she's spikes above us, killing innocent civilians, and I don't know for sure, but I think if other people who've been here longer than the general think that she might be the cause of all the zombies, I think there's a very good chance that they're very possibly right.
Also,
Guys,
So we're looking for proof of this? Or like,
I don't know if we're gonna find
I
proof, but
also want to point it out. From what it sounds like, she's not keen on people leaving.
mhm.
Are we sure she's gonna let us leave?
well, she already promised us that we'd be able to leave.
And she did let like her generals know that we were leaving.
Yeah, I don't trust. I don't trust her farther than I can throw her,
I mean,
which is pretty far because I'm ripped. But
she might force us into a fight, but I might be wrong. I am very curious to know what would happen if we simply ended her before the next zombie attack. I mean, we might not have to even deal with a zombie attack at that point. I don't know for sure though.
or
Guys,
before a zombie attack, the
what?
person that's coordinating the defense, for good or for ill, isn't there.
Well,
Yeah.
here's my
Yeah.
theory. What if, like, as soon as there's probably a horn that sounds when the zombies start attacking, right? Like, to let everybody know what's about to happen. So what if we just assassinate her right when that horn goes off? And then, like, we've learned all of the tactics, so if it doesn't work, well, I don't know if we've learned all the tactics, but, like, nobody will necessarily know she's dead. And they'll still carry things out, and then...
we're also
So sorry to interject.
Diesel?
Yeah,
Kill
I'm
him!
still here. You all seem to forget that I'm here all the time.
I know you're here.
I know you know I'm here, Bowmin.
See,
But
part
oh
of
my
knows
I
that
honest to
Diesel
God
is...
did not remember who the fuck this was. I remember now.
The party knows Diesel is there.
Artemis
We,
says
the
out loud.
players, don't know that Diesel is there.
Yeah.
so anyway,
It's not like
there
he's
is
invisible.
not a horn that sounds. Everybody knows when the zombies show up because they show up at the same time every month.
But, so they just appear? Like, don't they emerge from the trees or something?
I mean, yeah, they approach the city, but they approach the city in the same way at the same time. Not the
Does
same
anyone
way.
know where they've been prior to the attack?
I have a theory.
They come out of the mist.
I have a theory. What
Go
if
on.
they're the people that the generals killed?
Yeah, so I'm wondering if we kill the general, if they come out of the mist, maybe they won't come out of the mist.
If the general arrived, if the zombies are hunting the general, if the general is cursed, that they are forever to be hunted by zombies, then wherever they go, as long as they're on this plane, zombies are going to come out of the mist. But are we going to be here to clean up the mess? Once we get rid of whoever's in charge. We were there in Waterdeep. We stayed. And there were the watchful order that I'm assuming popped up now and then.
I mean, honestly, better just give the job to Ivan.
So Waterdeep was our home. I had a lot more invested in the future of it.
Yeah, and we fixed it.
Hopefully.
If we don't have the investment in the place.
I don't think
I-
that shouldn't be
Who are you?
that should be a reason.
To be clear, I have investment in this place.
Diesel for president.
I
Easily
don't think I could be the leader of this place, but maybe could be. But he couldn't do it alone. And Zamark, I know you want me to
Vice President.
come home, but if this place needs, if you're serious about getting rid of the general, this place is going to need someone, and Ivan can't do it alone.
Although I also do think some of the elders that I trained tonight would probably also be willing to help.
Also,
And I don't know if I want to go home.
oh, well,
Bowmin walks out of the room. It's just-
well, do we know if Falkovnia has always been in Ravenloft? Or did it get pulled to Ravenloft? Because doesn't, like, that's seems to be what our theory is with what happened with Oikos. Is it got pulled into Ravenloft. So
You think the general pulled it in?
I don't know. Did the guy, I mean, did the guy that you talked to mention the mist before, or was it just kind of like,
He mentioned the mist, but he said that suddenly a mist rolled in and the general and the general's army came and took over.
right?
Army came with.
But like, so like, did they, were they always here, or and if we get rid of the general, will this place go back to where it came from? I'm just thinking, like, if the general, we kill the general and everything needs to be rebuilt, where the heck are they getting those supplies? Where are they getting stuff to rebuild this place? Because we traveled there and back in like a day, like to the other side of this area and back here in less than a day. So like, there's not a lot around. There's not a ton of resources that I've seen.
Yeah.
So how would they rebuild? I want to put it back. I want to put it back where it came from, if possible. But I don't know if it is.
Do you want to still try to check out the library and see if we can?
I mean, if we're gonna kill the general, at the very least, we can figure out the way that her headquarters work. So that we
I
can.
also am wondering if we kill the general, are we just gonna send the general to a different area?
Well, no, because I don't think that she got killed to begin with. So I think I'd hope. Well, maybe she'd end up in Mordant. No, that's not how that works, right?
Imagine.
They have to die there,
I
right?
would allow Elina to make a religion check to see if she knows.
I can
what
do that.
religion-
Did you use my luck point before, Ben?
20, what is that? I can do math. 23.
23. So, you know, if, as far as you know, with most people, when they die in Ravenloft, their soul, the same thing that would happen to their soul in any other realm of reality happens to their soul in Ravenloft. With some exceptions, like Mordant, for instance, where all the souls are trapped there and become ghosts. But in most domains, when you die in Ravenloft, same thing happens to you as happens to everybody else in any other domain, in any other realm. If you are operating under this, if the general is a Dark Lord, like you all suspect, you're not sure. It's just not clear what that looks like, because Dark Lords have a whole different sort of status in the way Ravenloft works. And some Dark Lords are, monsters of some kind, like Mother Lorinda, I believe her name is. Hold on, let me double check. It's been a while.
That's right. In my
that's
notes,
right.
that's what it's.
Yeah. Like Mother Lorinda was, a godlike hag, right? So it's unclear, right, what happens to creatures like that in any circumstance after they die. If the general is the Dark Lord of Mordant, it does seem like she seems human. So does the same thing happen to her after she dies as any other human? It's hard to say. And that's if she's the Dark Lord, which you all suspect, but there's no good way to 100% confirm that.
Other than killing her and seeing if everything stops.
So anyway, that's what you get with your religion check.
Cool.
I'm gonna go check on Bowmin.
When you get up to do that, you see that Diesel has already left to follow Bowmin.
Oh, I'm gonna let them have some time. I need a fireplace.
There is a sad pittance of a fire pit in here.
All right, this'll do.
I'm
gonna just light up a little cozy fire.
Great. Bowmin, anywhere in particular you go, or you just go outside?
Let's go outside.
Kills the general.
I start walking to the town square.
Rage kill.
Diesel comes out after you very shortly and says, "Hey, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
We had that talk earlier today. We're sort of, I don't know, trying to help me figure out, and I still don't know what I want, right? But I don't know how much is left for me back home. And I didn't know what to do, but if you all are serious about killing the general, and if you all believe that killing the general will benefit this place, I want to help fix this place. After what happened that night on the ship, I was taken in here. It's been hard. It's been a hard couple of years for you. But there are good people here. And what's the point of being a soldier if you're not trying to help good people, and I think I lost sight of that back in the day when we were running covert ops for Cormier.
Yeah. I'm not upset with you for making that decision. It is your decision, it's your life. You can do whatever you want. I just am a very selfish old man. That's all.
Well, you could always stay and help too.
I have a lot of things back home that I need to take care of. And between you and I don't think Artemis would have survived this long if I wasn't around him most of the time.
You know, you keep calling yourself an old man, but let's be honest, Eric Coker, we don't live all that long. Okay, I only have a few more years anyway. I might as well spend them trying to help out.
Yeah. Diesel, I'm incredibly proud of you. You're not that little kid that was the only one that actually had a sense of humor.
Oh yeah, well, you know, what were you expecting from the others? Come on.
That's true.
What were you expecting from you? You didn't have a sense of humor. What am I even talking about here?
I know. I've been working on my Type 5. It's been a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's really raking in the big bucks for the crowd.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Can I just say, by the way, I don't know why the people here haven't figured out that paper is a much easier way to do money than coins.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Side note, I have a portable hole. I don't know if we've talked about this. I have a portable hole. It's in my cloak.
Sure.
The amount of crap they keep on putting in there. I have about probably 4 dozen gold bars that are just sitting in there.
That's insane.
And I know it's an interdimensional portal. It's still kind of heavy.
Sure.
It's still kind of
Sure.
heavy.
If I stay here, I will push for the establishment of paper money.
So I won't fight you on that one. Honestly, that's the one thing that really pushed me going. That and how did you write to USEC?
That was a while ago for me. Doesn't
Yeah.
sound like you received it all that long ago. But I handed it to some traveling traders, Vistani, I think they're called, that were coming through the area. They seemed to be able to, well, they were, the general didn't keep them here, like the general keeps others. So I asked them to deliver a letter for me.
Well,
I mean, I paid them.
yeah,
They didn't
handsomely.
do it no, they wouldn't do it for free, but
No, nothing's free anymore. Actually, never was. Next time they come in, after we're done all this, I'll make sure I drop a letter right to you.
Yeah.
I want you to be okay. And I know you'll be okay. I just want you to be okay.
Nothing has happened yet, okay? We haven't killed the general yet. So let's see how things are looking if that happens. I'm just saying that I don't know. I think it makes sense. You can try to talk me out of it if you want. You're more than welcome to try.
You're an adult. You can make your own decisions. I'm not your boss. I would never was. Frankly, on the ranking scale of our team, you were above me. So
no, I don't think that's actually true.
Okay, Black Claw 3, you, Black Claw 4.
I don't think the numbers were by rank. I think I used Technia was 1 and was in charge. I don't necessarily think that the numbers were entirely by rank. I think the rest of us just got numbers.
That's true. USEC was the favorite. Anyways, we should probably go back in.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you.
Thanks. All right, Zaymark.
Hmm.
Let's go back in there.
Did it look like I was crying?
No.
Okay.
Good job, Bowmin.
Shut the fuck up.
Never. I'm never dropping that.
It's good that you stay here then.
Your type 5 isn't. Two of you head back inside. What's everybody else doing as they re-enter?
I'm staring into my little fire.
Okay.
I am going to being very conscious of the fact that my big bird is a little clumsy sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And Nyx isn't a real big fan. I'm gonna just see if I can't think up some other form or shape.
Sure.
And if there's any connection to what's his face, Silver Flame, that I get during this, I'm not gonna fall asleep yet. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, you find, the spell is malleable. You didn't mean to cast it the first time you cast it.
Yeah.
It was almost by instinct. But as you reach into the magic that binds you to Cypress, you find that it is a spell like any other, and you can adjust the parameters of this particular spell. So you are more than welcome to change Cypress's form. Cypress will remain Cypress, however, in terms of same, mind. Whatever spirit animates this magical creature will remain the same, but
good.
Their form can change. So yeah, easy enough to do. Anybody want to do anything else before you take a long rest?
I think I need to cast Find Familiar because I don't think I have Little Flower with me.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. Easy enough. Great. You all go to sleep for the night.
I will attempt to not sleep when Jinarra sleeps so I can play music.
Okay, great. Yeah, you help lull Jinarra to a more peaceful sleep with a lullaby before turning in yourself. Eventually, Artemis, though, sleep does find you. You're tired. It's been a long day. You had to work your charm on Bjorn, and that's always, work.
It's hard being this talented.
That's right. As you drift off into a deeper sleep, you find yourself in a grand audience chamber of some sort. Stone pillars, gold, not gold inlays, silver inlays, in the stonework and the marble floor. Big throne at the end, and you see seated on the throne a handsome man, could be easily a relative of yours, and in fact is, because this is the spitting image of the same man you have seen in a previous dream, King Apollo Brightshield III.
Okay, Apollo 3.
In the previous dream you had of him, which was a while ago, from Artemis's point of view, even. You saw him in a small private chamber meeting with advisors, talking about real issues facing the citizens of Oikos, but also dealing with questions being raised by certain members of the populace. But they didn't seem to be bothering him at that point. As you arrive in this vision, and you see as the room is steadily coming more into focus for you, the sort of edges of everything were blurry, but things are coming much more into focus now, and you see several torches and braziers lit with blue and silver flames. And King Apollo Brightshield III is sitting on his throne, and as things are coming into sharper relief, you can see he still looks healthy, but you can see very slight bags under his eyes. He's more worn than when you saw him in the past.
I'll start walking down the hall towards him.
Yep. As you approach, you see that you are walking in lockstep with a knight in silver armor who approaches the king's throne with you and stops a few paces back and says, "My grace, there is a man who seeks audience with you. His audience wasn't scheduled for these hours, but he insisted that we speak with you." The king looks up and says, what can you tell me about this man? What brings him here?" "My lord, he is appears to be a wizard of some sort, wealthy by the quality of his robes, pointed face, beard, thinning hair. He is insisting that he speak to you about his phrasing was securing your legacy, my grace." The king sort of seems a little bemused by this. He thinks for a minute, and then he says, "Very well. Let him." Guard goes back down the hall, and a few moments pass before, flanked by guards, this wizard comes in. The guard gave a good description of him earlier. Very pointed face, thin beard, thinning hair, dark hair, dark beard, white pale skin, and very sort of luscious robes. Clearly a lot of money for these robes. They are very quality material, expensive dyes, clearly really subtle like pattern work into the fabric. Very wealthy person. And he has a wizard staff with him as well. Not anything crazy in terms of wizard staffs. I mean, you've seen some pretty crazy wizard staffs, but clearly a nice wizard staff. Wood with a crystal focus at the top of it. The man approaches the throne and bows deeply to King Apollo III. "My lord, it is an Absolute pleasure to meet you. My name is Minos. I am a wizard from Neverwinter. And I have a letter of introduction here from the Lord of Neverwinter. One of the guards takes it and passes it to the king, who opens it and looks at it briefly before setting it down on the arm of his throne. What brings you here, Minos? My lord, your people are well known throughout the Sword Coast. This kingdom of yours, Oikos, is a place of great wealth and learning and influence, and your reputation of sending the noble scions of your family out on a pilgrimage to see the world before assuming the throne is well known and well regarded, but it has been some time, I think, since you went on your pilgrimage, and it's curious that your children have not been on such a pilgrimage yet themselves. I and some other wizards were concerned that perhaps something wrong was happening in Oikos, so I took it upon myself to visit. And my lord, I must say I am impressed by how well you have ruled this beautiful kingdom of yours. I'm sensing there's a but in your sentence here, Minos. My lord is perceptive. I wouldn't want you to get the impression that I think ill of your rule, but I couldn't help but notice there are some vocal minorities of your local religious movement who believe that your family has been abandoned by your god, the what was it, the silver flame you call it? I am something of an expert when it comes to ensuring that such incorrect rumors are made sure that they are not spread, and I'm an expert in making sure that one's legacy is preserved. And where would this kingdom be without the legacy of your family on the throne? I can help you secure that. I am offering you my service, Lord, as your humble servant, to help you dispel these vicious rumors surrounding you and your family. And what do you want in exchange? Why, absolutely nothing, my lord, except for the privilege of being in the presence of such a magnificent king in such a magnificent realm. And with that, the dream fades. And Artemis wakes. You wake up. The small fire that you had set in the fireplace here is burning low, but it is burning silver.
I'll just add a little bit of. I'll just tend to it a little bit.
Yeah. After a few
You're
moments
into it. Like,
yeah.
there are a lot of things you're not telling me. That can only go on so much longer, you know.
Would I, since I meditate and not sleep,
Yes, you would notice Artemis like wake up and start tending to the flames and
Yep, forgot you were there. Did not hide that from you.
is
God, jeez.
sorry, is something wrong?
Oh, no, just weird dreams. You know,
I've-
nothing. Sometimes they say things, and sometimes they don't.
That's all right.
Does your crow queen? No, Raven. Crow. Does she?
Raven Queen.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. The Raven. Does she send put you to sleep or wait for you to go to sleep and then say something and then?
I have received messages from her before. Usually in visions.
While you're so like when you're awake?
Well, I don't really sleep,
Oh,
but when I go into the meditative state.
right. Suppose it's the same but different.
Slightly. Have you been seeing things?
Maybe not as often as I'd like. Now and then it's like I get little hints, clues. This time said something about seeing, exploring the world as a kind of coming of age test. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't really have a brain for this.
Well, I've seen a lot. But I understand if you don't want to share.
I mean, I'm fine. I just really would like to know if I just want answers, and I want to find my brother, and I want to fix him or save. He's not. I just need to find him.
I understand.
Yeah. He if nothing else, something tells me he knows more than me, and he's at least going to have answers whether I believe them or not. He's always really smug about letting me know what I don't know, so I bet he'll tell me. But we've got to survive this place first, so
Yes.
one step at a time. Although it is kind of nice. I mean, we all, well, all right, all the rest of us, as long as we don't act outside of our normal stuff, we all know we have to see the Vistani again, right? So we know we're okay until we see the
suppose
Vistani again.
that would be how that would work.
As long as we don't
They
fuck with that or rely on it too hard.
Sure.
If I just stop fighting in the middle of a battle and say, you're not gonna kill me because I know, I think that might fuck with it, but
Fate has a funny way of working out.
you're right, that's probably very naive, but It's helping me these days with all the nasty things coming to try and bite my face.
Yes.
Sorry to pseudo wake you up.
Oh, no. No problem at all. It's, I find it helps to get to know someone when you can have a conversation like this.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I love chatting, so
I have gathered that.
yeah.
Artemis, question for you. Does Elina know the name of the god you worship?
That's a great question. I
I-
presume I'm not intentionally hiding it. I simply don't remember if it's come up or not.
That's more why I'm asking. If you don't remember whether you've specifically mentioned
Yeah.
the name the Silver Flame or not, how about you just roll me a d20 and we'll see if you've mentioned it
Oh,
around
pretty good.
Elina.
What am I doing? That's a 7?
That's a 7. Elina,
I think
roll-
Jinarra knows.
Jinarra knows. And most everybody else knows.
Everyone else knows? Okay.
Elina, roll me a d20. If your number is higher than the number he just rolled, so 7, then you've heard him mention the Silver Flame before.
15.
15. You have heard him mention the Silver Flame before. With this conversation, with visions, all that stuff, you start thinking about if you've ever heard of this god before. And I would love for you to make me a religion check. This is a quite high DC, and I wouldn't normally call for this, but it seems natural that at this point.
In her sleep, Jinarra screams, "Luck."
I don't need it.
What'd you roll?
26,
26.
which is almost as high as I could get because I have a
Okay.
+7. So
Okay. You're thinking about it. Silver Flame is not a god you really hear of like frequently. Certainly not a common god to hear about.
Mhm.
But you're talking a little bit about visions and dreams with Artemis. We're thinking about your god and then thinking about Artemis's god, and you saw Artemis stoking the fire and it did look silver for a minute there. And so you're thinking about this and you're like, I think I have come across that name before, the Silver Flame, before Artemis. But, not frequently and not a lot of detail. So you're like racking your brain, and as sort of this conversation with Artemis seems to be drawing to an end, and the two of you seem to be starting to like get ready to go back into sort of long rest mode. You are thinking about it, and then finally something catches, and you remember. You're not sure where you came across this, maybe in a book somewhere, maybe you heard about this from someone. It's not entirely sure, but you do remember the one shred of detail you've heard about the Silver Flame before. It's the Silver Flame is a deity worshipped by the people of a world called Eberron, which is not the world that Artemis is from.
where did you say you're from?
Cormia. Well, like really far east. Cormia. Oh, it's a city. It's a country in
Beirun is the
Beirun,
continent,
yes.
the world is Toril.
Bowmin's there too. Although not really, we didn't know each other.
Well, I just remembered where I've heard of the Silver Flame before.
Oh, oh shit. Oh, I have a lot of questions then. Like, are they good? Like,
Well-
are they trusting? Are they...
I don't know much, but do you know anything about Eberron?
No idea. Ben?
You've never heard of Eberron before.
Do I have any other knowledge of that land? What is-
We're gonna call this a history check.
Not as good. That's a 13.
13. You don't know much about Eberron. People from Ravenloft is a place where you can run into people from all sorts of different worlds. We've met tons of people from Toril, where all of these guys are from. You've met people from various planes of existence. You've met people from other material plane worlds. You know, you've met people from whatever the world of Dragonlance is called. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. You know, you've met people from Ravnica, an entire city planet. You've met people from Exandria. You've met people from all sorts of different worlds in the material plane. You don't know if you ever actually met anyone from Eberron. You've heard of Eberron only very briefly. You may have met someone from Eberron, but it is not a place that you've met people from, really, not many, if anyone, before. And beyond that, you don't know much about Eberron.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of explain that to Artemis.
Oh,
I just know that that is the god that you're worshiping is generally worshipped by the people of Eberron.
really far away. What you're saying. Like,
can't
not
let
something we can, like, take a hike to.
I can't say I know how one would get there.
Oh, maybe build a rocket in a fucking library. Well, thank you for sharing. I am going to attempt to sleep on this. We'll see how that goes. Oh. Yeah, I gotta I gotta think on this.
If you
Wow,
ever
I know nothing.
I'm happy to help where I can, but
Thanks.
it seems as though there's a lot of mystery surrounding you.
Yeah. I might think on this for a little bit. Maybe I'll bug you again soon.
Anytime.
Do you want to kill the general? Everyone seems really keen on killing people these days.
It is
It's been our answer for a lot of things.
It is hard to have been around and seen as much as I have to want to kill anyone. But it's also from what we know, looking like this may be the best option that we have. And the best option is not always a good one.
Yeah.
You should get some rest.
Yeah. Thanks. Easy. Yeah. Good night. Morning. Good doze. Good. I know. What am I doing? Artemis knows elves. He says good night. His mom's an elf.
Yeah. Yeah, with that, you turn over and do your best to get back to sleep as quickly as you can. With a lot on your mind. You all finished your long rest. Congratulations. Yes. What's on the docket this morning? Y'all were talking about a lot of things the night before, but
Kill the bitch.
I think we should get a nice light breakfast and then go murder the general.
Can't do that on an empty stomach.
No, but we had not a lot. Gore upsets some people's stomachs.
It happened once.
Do you?
I mean, it's never happened. I've never had tummy troubles during the middle of a big fight of ours that I've had to hide from all of you. Like, that's never happened.
Yeah.
a flashback plays to your very first adventure in the sewers where Artemis was desperately trying to avoid stepping in the sewage water.
Yeah, we should eat. Are we gonna do that today?
Well, I guess the real question is if we are convinced that the horde is tied to her, then
That's tomorrow, right?
yes, which is tomorrow.
So yeah, I think we're killing her today.
Wait, is it Tuesday? Because yesterday it was meat in 3 days. So
Wait,
is
is
it
it
like
Tuesday?
3 full days and then meat, or like on
It'll
the third
end
day?
of the
you'll
day
meet?
tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Like, day as in like the concept of day, not necessarily
Sure.
24 hours.
Yeah, end of the day tomorrow.
Okay.
You know, I will go along with whatever you all decide. Does seem like you want to move forward with this, which I'm on board with. But I also know there was some talk about trying to sneak at least someone into the headquarters to possibly learn more before making your move.
Yeah.
I know
I could do
I might feel a little better about this whole thing if we had a little bit more information.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I-
mean, we may as well.
I think that we should send someone in to
Penny.
investigate and sneak around her information.
How do we get you out?
Just say you're looking for the bathroom. I heard that worked out really well.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do pass without a trace. Can I only do that on myself?
Yeah,
No.
it's a
No.
I mean, I have a. Well, you know, if I really get into a jam, my new thing, like, you know, the this thing, and I hold up the dimensional loop thing. I'm like, this thing, yeah, it can shift me out of phase.
Maybe.
Maybe, potentially, for a minute. So like I could probably, if I like get got, I could probably be like, oh, I'm a ghost. Woo!
Just like that.
Yep,
All right.
Oh,
that's
okay.
probably what would happen.
It just seems like this is the kind of place where if you get caught snooping somewhere you're not supposed to be, we're going to see your head on a spike. So
I
just
can
I mean, I can
Also-
disguise myself
Well, I can offer invisibility
for an
to-
hour, right?
If I could make a suggestion, why don't we go there asking to just
That's what I
try
was
to
saying. Yes.
plan?
Yeah. Mhm.
I know she's probably stubborn, but we could probably get into the door.
Because what I was telling Penny and Artemis yesterday was that we could go in like asking questions, and but one of us is invisible, and so they're not expecting there to be 6 of us. Or like, oh, you know, it's probably. I mean, I don't necessarily need to be the one that does it, but like, just say Nyx is sick, so she stayed back at the place, and then you guys go in, but like I'm actually sneaking around. Or can't more than one people, more than one person do invisibility?
Yeah, I mean, I can turn invisible.
Yeah. So like we could.
And I could turn us all invisible.
You can.
It's a lot of energy, but
That's why
it
we have
doesn't
to light
just be
breakfast
one
first.
person. I mean, I can kind of split it over a lot, but
Yeah.
it takes a lot.
That seems like something we might want to use when we actually do the damn thing.
I will say, you know, as a fellow connoisseur of sneaking around, hiding, and I'm sure you would agree with me, Nyx, that with this sort of thing, typically the more people involved, the easier it is to get caught.
That is true. We don't all have, like, I'm just saying, so if a group of people went in and like, you know, talked at people to get information, and then we had 1 or 2 people invisible to get in, maybe small people that could also
Next, you're
benefit
going.
it.
I could turn Diesel invisible.
Diesel will.
Because no one will run into the big 3-headed invisible dog.
Yeah.
All right,
So, who wants to go ask questions?
I mean, I'd like to talk, so
I mean, she and I have a bit of repertoire, so I think we really left off on a good foot.
Yeah.
She definitely hates you.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I mean. I feel like I could rile her up a little bit.
What are we
Well-
going to be asking her to distract? Because we don't want to also like ask anything that's going to
Well, you want to ask
immediately piss her off.
about like what normally happens during a zombie attack, and what is their like typical strategy, and just like what should we be expected to do tomorrow
I
night?
can do that.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
play
we
her in
can do that.
chess or something.
Yeah, I just
Sorry, just thinking about this. Someone who turns invisible needs to know the message spell, just so we can communicate a little bit easier.
can
So-
I learn that? I might have to sit here for a second, but let me see if I can. I can learn that.
All right.
Do we think?
I mean, it's the beginning of the day. If you want to prepare
Yeah,
your
yeah,
spells,
yeah.
you can just
I can
make that part of your
I can prepare my artificer spells. So I just gotta like tinker for a sec or for a minute, and then we're good.
Right.
I'll just get rid of the lightning lure thing, and then I can learn message.
All right.
So
Okay.
just literally give me 1 minute, and then I just like sit there and
While she's doing
Did
that,
something.
I'm giving a
Make
speech
walk
about
through the
how
walkie-talkie.
yeah.
Oh,
we're gonna get in and get out and all the things, and then everyone gets how many temporary hit points these
14,
days.
right?
Oh, that wasn't helpful. I think it's 14. Stand by. I'll tell you in a minute. how
A
many
number of
points.
temporary hit points.
Yeah. My app decided to just crash on me.
Classic.
You know.
Great. Well, let's say with your
15.
plans, 15.
Ooh.
ooh.
With your plans in place to distract the general while Nyx infiltrates.
I mean, if Diesel wants to come too.
Try to learn more. Diesel's like, if I get on the general's bad side again, it doesn't even matter how many favors you guys do for I'm losing my head.
Yeah, let's not do that.
But with your plan in place, and temporary hit points on from an inspiring speech, let's go ahead and call it here tonight. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for playing. Another shorter episode this week. We're still getting back into the swing of things after a very cursed September. But we're getting back on track. You'll see. We're gonna be back to normal before you all know it. And then we're gonna have to take another break again in December. But it's fine. It's gonna be great. Okay. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time. Have a good night, everyone.